Okay. So, the lot of you, Kyoko, Velvet, Linny, and Shadow Man,
The Shadow Man, thank you.
Shadow Man, are in the metropolis of La Marasma, which is a city built on the bones of another city, essentially. The long story short version of the history behind it is that settlers from the old country, which is the equivalent of Faerun, right, sailed across the sea to find a new place to colonize, to explore, to exploit. Yes, and they arrived on the coast of what is now referred to as Hualtica, which is the kind of the continent, right?
Okay.
They found basically nothing. They landed on the coast, and it was barren sand as far as the eye could see. The leader of the expedition, Quentin Rodeland, he was initially severely disheartened by this discovery, but he, as the history books tell us, he completely turned things around, and he said, "We're going to go into the heart of this country and find something. I don't care if it kills us." Right? And somehow the crew, who were either, they were either too tired to argue, or too desperate themselves, or fleeing something from Faerun or whatever, they decided, well, let's give it an honest shot. Let's go with Rodeland and try to find something.
Really needed that win.
So they travel for 5 days in a sort of featureless desert. Some of the colonizers, the settlers, dying of heat stroke and dehydration. All of them getting pretty ragged and not having a lot of food. And they salvaged what they could from the ships, obviously, but that only lasts so long. But after 5 days, they discovered in the distance, and they basically ran to it, this abandoned metropolis out in the middle of the desert, made out of pale stone, in elaborate architectural forms. Right. This was truly a massive city in the middle of nowhere, made out of stone. There was a slab on the outside where La Marasma had been chiseled into it. So the settlers took that as sort of the name of the settlement. They, desperate for shelter from the heat and resources, rest, they went in to the city and found that it was completely abandoned. If anyone had, it must have been populated previously, but now there was simply not a trace of anyone there. It's like it's like a city had sort of risen up out of the sand by itself, essentially. There wasn't a corpse or a trace of food or a scrap of fabric. Nothing. It was all empty. And Rodeland saw that as sort of like this sort of divine gift, right? He says, "Okay, well, this city has been given to us in our hour of extreme need. We have persevered, and we now have this thing. And so we're gonna live here. We're gonna make this the new colony. We're gonna make this work." And after a decade of work, exploring the city itself, coming to understand, it's a huge city, finding sources of water and food, getting used to the local wildlife, all this sort of stuff, it becomes a thriving settlement. And they begin to send word to the old country through like sending stones and that sort of thing that, hey, we're good. You can start to come over here now and live a new life. So over time, over the decades, people from the old country, all manner of people, initially it was just humans as settling. But then the demi-humans come, half-elves and elves and all that stuff like that. And then other creatures from the old world, the old country, they come and they make a new life for themselves in La Marasma and start to figure things out. One of those early settlers was a dwarven entrepreneur, Therret Marble Mall. He was dedicated, he and his initial party were the first non-humans to settle in the area. So they were basically on the second boat, essentially, there. And he and his crew decided to make expeditions into the sort of surrounding wastes, or the frontier, if you want to call it, the sort of the pre-approved word for it, to see if there was anything really of note out there in the wilderness, right? People, laughed, and ridiculed him, assuming that he would just go out there to basically die of heat stroke and dehydration, and that there wouldn't be anything out there. They walked for 5 days from the coast to here, didn't see a damn thing, right? But Marble Mall eventually, after several weeks of these expeditions and things, returns to La Marasma with cartloads of this magically resonant crystalline mineral called Getralt. You may remember that from even lower the Signites, which they had found in a distant chain of mountains to the east. They went far enough, they found this mountain range, they went inside. Being dwarves, they're good with mining. They see, this mineral must be valuable in some way. Rodalan is still alive. He's still there. He's essentially acting as the first governor of La Marasma. He is impressed by the dwarves' entrepreneurialism and frontier kind of spirit. This is a world in which humans are like the dominant species, and they look down upon demi-humans less so, and then like
Everything else
beast
more
people
so.
and all that stuff, they're essentially very prejudicial towards them, right? So he sees this dwarf doing this thing, and he's like, that's great, And so he dedicates, over the next year, much of the city's resources to build a link, some kind of industrial link between the city and these mountains. So they set up essentially an industrial sort of avenue to go from La Marasma to the mountains. They began extracting this Getralt by the cartload, and the artificers and wizards and engineers and everything that had come from the old country and settled in La Marasma, they discovered that this Getralt stuff is incredibly versatile. It soaks up magical energy like a sponge, and is able to power stuff in a variety of different sort of situations and applications. And so with this new mineral, the city basically develops exponentially in the next few years. Like firearms become a thing finally with the use of Getralt and what that does to industry in the city. They start making vehicles, like conveyances out of steel and steam and stuff like that, also using Getralt-powered stuff. They begin building rail travel out to, which enables them to create sort of frontier settlements, right? Apart from the big city of La Marasma. They create these creatures called the Gearforged, and they use the Getralt crystals to house the souls of like criminals and the dead and dying, and basically people who couldn't say no, essentially, to work as a kind of servant race, right? To do things in the city. Eventually, other races from the continent itself, natives. Originally, La Marasma was just, they felt that they were alone on this continent. They had not a lick of sentient life, right? The three Kreen and the Plantkin, two races of creatures, are they're made aware sheerly because of the belching smoke and activity of La Marasma. They can see it very far in the distance. And they come to the city, and there's this sort of brief tension there of, who are these people? Do you mean us any harm?
What are these monsters?
And so they kind of strike a sort of a détente, right? They're like, okay, well, clearly we don't like you. You don't even look remotely like human beings, like elves and halflings do. But maybe you have some use in the city. And so the 3 Kree and the Plankin, there are a handful of them in La Marasma from day to day, and most of them are still out living in their original sort of settlements and stuff. But so that was, over the course of decades. Now it's been a century since they first set foot on the coast, right? It's been 100 years. And most of the stone structures they don't really stand pure anymore, right? They've either been demolished and built over. A handful of them have been that. They're either renovated, right? They're sort of potentially patched over with steel and brick and new sort of modern materials. Or they are preserved, in the case of the Pilgrim's Oasis, the big ziggurat structure in the middle of the city, as kind of an historical monument, right? People can go in there and see some of the relics of the original settler's journey and stuff like that. The Oasis also acts as a kind of a temple to Jodius, who sort of Rodaland proclaimed this gift, in the name of, and sanctified it, blah blah blah. So now it is essentially the brass tacks is that, imagine London, right, in the 1880s or so, right, was dropped into the middle of the Mojave Desert. Like, that's essentially what you're working with, right? So you've got, with wild Western flavor on top of it. Now, the 4 of you are in the city. Now, this is a city that is covered in smoke and steam, and there's motion everywhere. There's, thousands upon thousands and thousands of people living in La Marasma and working there. It is sharply divided by classism, by racism, by the prevalence of technology, and all those things sort of interconnect, right? There's the poorest district where the working poor live, called Poxborough. They use, if they have firearms at all, if they can afford them, or they scavenge them or whatever. They're the primitive kind. They're the kind like flintlocks and stuff. They use gunpowder and all that jazz. Contrast that with Coldcrest, which is the highest living sort of district. That's where all of the rich and well-to-do live. It's a place of towering, gilded mansions and like a rail system going through the district and everything like that. Whereas Poxborough looks more like a dingy Victorian alley where there's like smog everywhere and cobblestone, and so that gives you an idea of like how the city is laid out, right, and what it feels like. So it feels very much like different worlds depending on what district you're in at the time. Any questions?
No. So they basically settled a high-tech version of Roanoke.
In a way, yeah.
Okay.
It eventually became high-tech after they found the controlled stuff. Originally they were still working with, what we would call medieval fantasy kind of stuff. Magic was still a thing, of course, but...
Cool.
So, a lot of you, because of your unique sets of skills, right?
They're very specific. We'll look
I
for
do
you.
have one question.
Yes, what's the question?
I was wondering if I could grab this spell. I think it's from one of the expansions called Earth Tremor.
Oh, from Elemental Evil or something?
Possibly.
Yeah, that
Sounds right.
Yeah.
I was just looking at, because I was going to take Identify, and then I realized I need 100 gold parts worth of components for that, and I'm not going to get that in one session, so I might as well pick something else.
Fair enough.
I don't really pay attention to the components anyway, so if you wanted to have Identify, that's fine. Ammunition I will pay attention to because guns.
Yep.
So, have all been summoned to the headquarters of the La Marasma Police Department, which is centered in the Gainsey district, which is it rests in a kind of a buffer zone between Caldcrest, the high living area, and Poxborough, the working poor. And it's sort of the security district. It's where the La Marasma Police Department operates, where the governor's special forces essentially are, what are called the Zerif, which are like the equivalent of Texas Rangers or something. Think of things like that. A group of people who are empowered by the law, who are separate from the police department, who are essentially told to, by the governor to say, hey, go out into the frontier, take care of this, goblin raid or this trade dispute or whatever, and solve the problem, whether you're using your words or you're using your bullets. And then sort of various mercenary companies, there's armories and stuff like that. So it's very much dedicated to arms and security, right? So you are summoned to the La Marasma Police Department by Marshal Ersatz. He is essentially the head honcho of the La Marasma Police Department, like the police commissioner, essentially. And he has a potential job for you, one that could lead to more paying work in the future if you prove yourself to be a valuable resource to him and the department, and to the city in general, of course. So, as you're making your way through Gainsey, you see in the distance the La Marasma Police Department building, which is this gray, concrete-esque, brutalist sort of building. It's all like squares and angles and stuff like that. It's very much... There's not a hint of artistry about the building. It's very much like solid, chunky, massive,
functional concrete. Very
functional and meant to be powerful.
It's like the McDonald's on Chauncey.
No more.
Yeah, but worse. And they don't serve McGriddles.
Brutalism.
Yeah.
So the brutalist kind of.
I guess I'll
look.
stick with identify.
Yeah.
I can use it
Do you
with
wanna-
the spell.
If you ever have seen brutalist architecture, it's all like
Painfully gray.
Yeah,
painfully
squarish.
concrete.
Yeah.
If you work here, you're not meant to be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think Russia.
So you all sort of head in through the double doors, and you find that what you were expecting to be a more traditional police lobby, essentially. You've got sort of an extended desk with a police officer on call to talk to the public and make inquiries and all that stuff like that. The lobby actually looks more like it's laid out like a high-end hotel. There's a long strip of carpet, fine carpet, leading to a bank of what look like elevators. There is a long curved desk off to the side where there's a receptionist sitting by, and there are several tables and chairs in a kind of rich Victorian study sort of aesthetic. It's like very finely upholstered and finely dressed. And you are there standing in the lobby.
Weird question. Is this before or after the other session?
It's before.
Cool. Okay.
Or it is simultaneous with, but on a different timeline.
Yeah. Do I get to keep anything, I think?
No. Damn. So, a lot of you were contacted individually, basically. You have, your interests and your skill sets, and a representative of the police department asked, the lot of you to come in, because it is very much like the Wild West in that the police can handle a lot of stuff in La Marasma. There's a sizable police force. But La Marasma is a huge city, and there's all sorts of crime and disturbance going on, and so they're going to take the help that they can get, especially in the frontier areas, for issues that the governor says the Zerif don't have to bother with, right? Little land disputes, or kidnappings, or goblin raids, or whatever.
Kyoko's-
And you're not familiar with each other.
Kyoko's just going to head up to the desk, kind of poke her head up over the side of the table, look at the receptionist.
What does Kyoko look like, just for the benefit of everybody else?
For everybody else, a gray vulpine, about 3'7".
Aw.
Yeah, real small. Is wearing a leather duster. Underneath, you can see
Aw.
very fine, like Japanese-inspired designs, kind of crossed with a very like desert wear. A lot of loose sashes and stuff like that.
Kind of kimono / Arabic dress.
Yeah,
like-
a little hybrid of the two.
Yeah.
And on her back is a large blunderbuss that is taller than she is.
Okay, so you approach the counter. The three of you are still sort of coming to grips with, okay, I'm here now. Oh, it's nicer than I was expecting.
Weird compared to the outside.
You see the receptionist. Yes, can I help you?
I was contacted about a
Could
job.
you? I'm sorry. Is there any way that you can?
Just
Could we get
climb
this-
up on the
Oh.
desk?
I'm a gnome, so I'm also tiny.
And I'm a halfling, so she's really gonna have a fun
we
time.
are all
Everybody
small.
in this party is small.
Oh, female,
Yes.
female,
Female.
male. Got it. Okay, that's helpful.
It's a harem.
Okay.
No.
No.
So,
My character's a lesbian, so
is there any
No,
way
actually.
that I can help
depends
you?
on your definition of a harem.
I was contacted about a job by the what's his name?
If there's a lesbian harem, you wouldn't be here.
The chief of this place. I didn't really get the name.
I was more thinking like a person
Are you
I have
fishing for
that serves
misinformation,
female clients.
ma'am? I wasn't born yesterday.
No,
Who is it
it's-
that you have an appointment with?
I actually have to remember his name. Did I take notes? Probably not.
Slightly over 3 feet tall, so you're
It's
actually
Marshall Airsats.
taller than I am.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And there's no point in making you like roll to
Roll
remember
for
that
it.
basic information. Yeah.
With the marshal, Mr. Erzatz.
Marshall Airsats. Well, I will check his schedule if you don't mind. If you'll wait here.
Hop off and go grab a seat.
Thank you. You can see her scanning a book from behind the counter. What about the rest of you? What are you doing? The place looks pretty. Like I said, it's laid out like a high-end hotel lobby.
So we were summoned here?
Yeah, you were essentially a representative of the police department acting on behalf of Marshall Airsats said, "Hey, we have some things that might interest you. We have a job lined up.
Okay.
You want to hop in on this? You might have more work."
Okay. I will step forward then
I'll go with you.
to the receptionist.
Oh, yes. Can I help you too?
I am here to speak with Marshal Airsats regarding a summons I received.
Same.
I see. And are you? Where did the other one go? Are you with? There's another one that looks like you.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Just like barely see ears.
Excuse
coming
me?
out the back of the chair.
Ma'am, could you come here, please?
Hop up and
How
make
tall
my
is
way
your
over.
character?
Halfling, like, we're talking 3'2", 3'3".
Jesus.
Your names, please, so that I may check the register.
Kyoko.
Lenny Turin.
And you?
Velvet.
I see. Very well. You'll have to excuse me. Marshal Airsats is very serious about his office hours. He doesn't like to be disturbed unless he has official business, and it would be improper of me to send someone up without an appointment. You understand? You're welcome to take the elevator there. You'll be heading up to whatever floor I said the last time. The third floor. Floor.
Roll back the tape.
You will make your way down the hallway, the second door on your left. That'll be Marshal Airsat's office.
Don't go in the right one.
Thank you very much.
And don't go in the right door.
Okay.
I would
Does that
follow
mean
the three
we
of you
should
into
go
the
in the
elevator.
wrong door?
Hop in the elevator.
Sir? Sir?
And just keep walking toward the elevator.
Okay. So a lot of you are now back in this elevator, which is
I'm just
It's-
spinning a card on the.
you can see
like
that the cross-hatched iron sort of closes in front of it, and then the doors close, and it's paneled. It's nicely wood paneled and gleaming and very very.
Can any of us reach the buttons?
Yeah.
Sized appropriately.
Yeah. So you hit the button for the third floor, and you can feel. After a moment, you hear this humming noise, which you are already familiar with. It's like a Tralt crystal, kind of like coming to resonance, right? And then you can feel the elevator very smoothly glide upward to the third floor. As the doors open and the crosshatched iron slides away, you see before you a stark difference from the lobby. This is a plain, off-white, flat, decorationless hallway with a series of doors leading off into the distance. In the middle of the hallway, you see two slightly older gentlemen. There's humans, men, in their early 30s. They are in the traditional black uniform with gold accents of the La Marasma Police Department. One of them steps forward and puts a hand up, and he says, "Excuse me, we got a call from reception about a gentleman who did not check in.
Oh,
I assume that was you."
That was me. That lady seemed like she just wasn't in a good mood. And I'm here for the same reason they are, so...
Well, she said, "Well, you're going to have to check in, sir."
I'm checking in with you. You know that I'm here.
I think you need to go back downstairs and check in with the receptionist. She probably has a list that she writes people
Well-
down on.
So don't give me a hard time here, okay? I'm only doing my job.
Come on, let's go back down. I'll go with you.
Just spinning my card on my finger. Okay.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Do you have stairs?
Stairs.
Yeah.
Why would we have stairs?
In case of a fire.
The elevator.
What?
Why would we have fire?
Closed. Okay, I'll go back to the elevator.
Come off it. Of course I'm fucking with you. We have stairs.
Well, I didn't know if you could smile. This
Not
hallway
crazy
is just...
people. Hey, I'm not the interior decorator.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna go down that door, and you'll be in the stairwell down to the ground
Lady
floor.
with the stick in the
Please
butt.
check
Like-
in with the receptionist.
The stairs are like a third of our height.
Oh, I'm gonna like slide down the rail.
The banister. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Okay. I go back downstairs and
Okay,
I
so
go
he
with him.
gestures for the two of you to go down. The other police officer. So that one that was just talking to you sort of goes at the door, slightly into the stairwell, and watches you go down to the bottom floor.
And the bad news about us all being small is you can't use any of your stealthy abilities, or you're squeezing by on us.
You two are the other officer comes
We're gonna
forward.
have to find a half-orc to join us.
Sorry about the difficulties, ma'am. We run a tight ship here. We just want to make sure that no one is getting in without our express permission.
Yeah, what's
Appreciate
in
it.
the right door?
I'm sorry?
The right door. What's in the right door?
There's a couple of right doors. Look, we just need to go and talk. Never mind. And make my way past
It's just-
second door on the left.
Steps by and lets you through. So you're
I
back
kind
at
of look at the right door and point.
you're back at the ground floor. Go left.
so I'm going
Receptionist
to
sees you.
play the card that I've been spinning on my finger.
Okay. Which is the
Okay.
check-in card.
It is the Charm Person spell.
Okay.
Jeez.
And I'm going to try to charm this woman.
Okay. Someone remind me how charm person works.
She has to make a wisdom saving throw. The DC is 14.
Okay. So you, how does this happen? Like, do you
So I would
fling
be-
it at her? Or?
No. It's just I guess given that
Very
it's an arcane
short
deck,
wisdom.
I'm kind of imagining I just snap my fingers and the card kind of dissolves.
It
Because I
just
don't have the
disappears.
card
Right.
until.
Yeah.
So it would be me being the flamboyant individual that I'd be. I'm spinning the card, and as I walk up to the desk, I kind of fling it up in the air and snap my fingers, and it just kind of...
Okay. She looks up just as the card completely evaporates, and she sees you. Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am. I do apologize. I was with the other 3 women.
No, don't. That's perfectly fine. I understand you probably have important business.
Yes, so I'm here to see the marshal. What is this check-in business?
Yes, Marshal Airsats.
Yes.
It's a formality, sir. We just have to run things very by the letter. Otherwise, Marshal Airsats jumps down all of our throats.
Oh,
I just want to make
okay.
sure that you're on the books, and then we can get you on your way.
Okay.
Now, I have a listing here. What's your name, sir? What's your...
Well, you might reference me as Dr. Facilier.
Yes, here we are, Doctor. I do have your name listed
Like
here.
from The Princess and the Frog?
Yeah.
Nice.
I do have your name listed here, and that's all we need. I'm sorry to have bothered you.
Oh, that's not a problem at all. You have a wonderful rest of the day.
And you too, sir.
I'll be taking the elevator back upstairs, because the stairs are about as tall as I am.
Okay.
And go back to the elevator and...
So this that takes for a short amount of time. The 4 of you are now sort of assembled outside of Marshal Airsats' office.
Knock.
You hear a curt, "Come in."
Open the door. Push it open.
You open the door, and you see a pretty nicely decorated, kind of Victorian-style, not a drawing room exactly, but sort of an office. There's a long walnut desk. There is a full-length mirror off to the side. And scattered about the room, well, not scattered, but sort of positioned about the room are various police accoutrements, a medal or two, a map, things laid about his desk, writing utensils, ink pens with ink cartridges, that sort of thing. And you see this older gentleman, probably in his 40s or so, late 40s, right? He has thinning grayish hair combed over to the side, a pencil-thin mustache with a split where the philtrum is, that is darker than the hair on top of his head. Draw your own conclusions from that. Wearing a crisp black uniform that you recognize as... It's very much in style with the La Marasma Police Department's uniform, but this is clearly the uniform of an officer. It's more of a dress uniform. And you can see that on his left breast is the insignia of a marshal. He is also, basically, he's a strange figure because from the torso down, he looks very very thin. His legs are very ill-defined. They're sort of sticks. Upper body, though, is perfect... barrel-chested, greased up 30s strongman kind of...
So he's Popeye.
You're telling me he skipped leg day.
Yes, he
leg.
always skips leg day.
God damn it.
And so you see him sitting behind the desk. He gets up and smooths out his uniform. Please, have a seat.
Hop up on a chair.
If I could, Miss...
I hop up on a chair but stand on it.
Yeah, that's basically what
Fine. I'm not here to argue with contractors. Now then.
Did you need something?
Yes, please, have a seat. We have a meeting about this.
Sure.
Yes, please, make yourself comfortable. Not that comfortable. Now then. I understand
I've been
that...
fidgeting with this clockwork,
you-
this entire time I've been here. I'm not even paying attention to it. I'm just kind of...
I understand that you citizens are interested in paying work, and the La Marasma Police Department is willing to provide you with this.
sounds good.
Are you interested?
Yes.
We wouldn't be here otherwise.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to hear that. I do not want to waste my time with dilettantes. Now then, have you heard of Pepatu, the provider?
No.
Have we?
You can make a history check.
I should probably get my dice out. That
If
was
you
a good
like.
idea.
That would be a 20.
Dang.
A 20. You know nothing. No, I just with a 20, you know that having been in La Marasma long enough, you know that there is a thriving black market in Poxpro that is essentially they are essentially taking goods from the other district, legally or illegally. They are packaging them and sending them out to the frontier towns at a jacked up price, or back to people in the old country, or they're essentially black market smugglers and racketeers. That business goes on in Poxborough all the time. And Pepatu, the provider, is like one of the head honchos of that industry. He is what you might call a fixer, essentially. You need something, he can get it for you. You're going to have to pay a pretty penny for it, but he will do it, and he will do it in a way that is not traceable by the police department. So he is what you would probably call, on the scale of crime in La Marasma, like a moderate nuisance. Yes, Pepatu the provider. I'm sure some of you at least heard of him.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Legend. Ridiculous.
Well, obviously, you've never needed extra legal services.
No, I am a proper citizen. I have
That's
nothing to hide.
unfortunate.
Pepatu the provider is normally merely has a swabbing pain in my ass.
Sounds about right.
He's a difficulty. He is a drain on the city's resources. He is scum. Normally, however, we do not give him the time of day because we have bigger fish to fry. However, seeing that we need volunteers to do some more, let us say, discretionary work, and because Pepatu has been such a delightful person to work with, I have decided to pay him a visit. Or rather, have you pay him a visit. You see, I've recently come into some intelligence that Pepatu has been smuggling discrete portions of Getrold illegally, without license, out to a strange, unregistered site nearby the frontier town of Tilancia. Why he's doing this, we do not know. We know, however, that if he is trafficking in unlicensed Getrold, he is stepping up his smuggling game, and I cannot abide that. That's where you four come in.
Alright.
I need you to pay a visit to his establishment in Poxborough. Find him. Extract information from him about the meaning of this Getrold trade, where it is going, what it's been used for. And then you may deal with him as you wish. Now, normally I would prefer you to bring him in for to see the proper La Marasma justice, but if he is perhaps accidentally crushed under the weight of several bullets, then that is fine. We will not cry over his death. Once you've done so, please return to the police headquarters and let me know of your information. I will pay you handsomely.
Sounds acceptable.
Understood.
Very good. Now you will find Pepatu. He has a rather dingy-looking brewery in Poxborough. Perhaps you've heard of it, Fruit of the Tail. It is essentially a front for his smuggling activities.
No.
I have never myself patronized the establishment.
but I understand that the beer and the wine there is, well, it's shit, essentially. So if I would caution you one thing, don't turn your back on Pepatu, and don't drink any of his wares. Yes.
Okay.
Now then, any further questions for me, or perhaps you are needing some guidance? I understand you are contractors, you are not police staff or registered detectives.
Any idea what kind of security this man might have?
He will most likely be traveling with his. He will be guarded by his. I don't know, essentially what you call them. They're not employees as much as they are
Mercenaries?
henchmen, as I was actually going to say. They are not as proper as mercenaries. You will find that. What are the names? They're all of the names begin with P for some reason. I do not know if he hires only people whose names begin with P, or if he renames them in some kind of strange process. That's neither here nor there. Those three will undoubtedly be around him, providing some meager means of bodyguarding. But I should not think that it will be difficult to separate him from them, forcibly or otherwise.
Alright.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Very good. I wish you all the best of luck.
Oh, do you have any kind of idea of what sorts of weapons he prefers, or if he's a magic user?
Well, Pepatu is not magically inclined, at least not as we have ever witnessed. Nor are any of his henchmen. They are simple, what do you call common criminals? I understand they do wield firearms, although they are appropriate to the district. They are primitive, they're gunpowder and so on.
Mm.
So I would advise, if you are approaching in a tight space inside the Broadway itself, get behind the barrel.
Alright. What does this man look like?
He's all these rat folk look like. He's about.
Oh, he's literally a rat.
Mm-hmm.
You see, he's a small creature. Looks like a rat.
Alright.
Slightly, what you might call humanoid features. I would not be so generous, but he is usually wearing a dingy overcoat and leather apron and so on. He'll be surrounded by his henchmen, who are similarly rat folk like him. I think they something about cultural family or something. They like to work together.
Cousins, possibly?
I do not know, and I never wish to.
Alright.
Do you have any other questions?
Asked about security.
You see him. You see
weaponry.
the marshal's looked away and is now smoothing his mustache over in a hand mirror.
Security,
At
weaponry,
this point, I'm doing
appearance.
a handstand on the chair.
Kind of like elbow you. Where's your decor? Come on.
I think that just about covers it. That's any
Right.
information we need to bring him in.
Fantastic. Now, please, if you would get down from the chairs and enjoy your first assignment on behalf of the police department.
Thank you, sir.
Hop down, make my way out.
How can
Oh,
you
what? One more thing before you go. Though you are acting as contractors, as agents of the police department, that does not give you a free license to break the law. You see?
Of course.
I didn't think it was like that for regular cops either.
No, it is not. You must still abide by the law. You are only to wound or, heaven forbid, kill Bebado and his people in the course of your investigation, should that be necessary.
Yeah.
Understood.
Otherwise, I expect you to behave as all Marasma citizens would.
Okay, I do an acrobatic flip off the chair.
That is great. Excellent.
as we walk out the door, I would, not in anything that would be visible to him, but I would pull out a card from my pocket and snap my fingers. And for the next hour, his office is going to smell like rotten fish.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh.
So as you're
Prestidigitation, right?
Yep.
as you're walking out of the office, you hear loudly. Okay, so you now head back to the elevator. You make your way down to the lobby of the police department, and you're back out on the streets in the Gainsey district.
All right, we need to make our way to Parksboro.
What's everyone's names?
You may call me Kyoko.
Kyoko?
I am Velvet.
Velvet?
I'm the Shadow Man.
The Shadow Man?
Yeah.
Alright.
We'll just call him Shady.
And I
I'm
started
Lenny.
just spinning a card on my finger.
Or shh.
Absentmindedly.
We'll just call him copyright infringement.
I'm
That's
trying
what we
to
do
remember
here.
what the name. Do you remember what the name was of the guild that I was from in Ash's campaign?
Oh.
I think it was the Lost Wax.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I'll actually I'll look up my letter of introduction
Oh, thank God.
that I get from my guild. I'll say Lenny Turin of the Lost Wax Guild. I think that's what it's called.
So, shall we go to the shadier parts of town?
They're not shady, they're just...
Oh, I
Poor.
like those parts of town.
Obviously, the Shadow Man likes the shady part of town.
Yes, let's head to this, what was it, Fruit of the Tail Brewery?
So you
It's not the best, but it's not quite as bad as the Marshall made it out to be.
you're a Tarope?
You guys talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
And what about you two?
Pull the blunderbuss off my back. Bit of a desert ranger.
Alright. What about you?
I'm a companion.
Companion. Interesting.
Why were you summoned?
Well, I'm not so bad in a fight.
Oh, good.
And I
That's
have
pretty
slick
clever.
hands.
Should probably dry those off.
Hmm.
We've work to do. You want to drop your weapon in the middle of a fight.
Yes, that's hilarious.
I don't hear much in the way of laughing. I was being quite serious.
Oh.
We do have work to do.
I'm a bard. In case anyone was wondering. And I've got
I assumed you had some sort of musical instrument on you.
yeah, I've got a fiddle strapped to my back and a rapier at my hip.
Do you
I-
sing as well?
I do. Not as well as I play, but
I also
enough.
have a musical instrument. I have a lyre,
ooh.
and I have a whip and a scimitar.
I don't think those are instruments of music.
They're instruments, but not
I will
necessarily.
Instruments of
that.
pain. Yeah, it was the Lost Wax. Lost Wax is a method of bronze casting. Using a clay core and a wax coating placed in the mold, the wax is melted in the mold and drained out, and the bronze is poured and leaves space left, producing a hollow bronze figure when the core is discarded. Because she is a member of a Tinkers, Pewters, and Casters Guild.
What skills will you bring to the table, card player?
Lost Wax Company, I believe it was called.
Oh, well, that just depends on what the cards are showing today.
I hope more than make things smell of rotten fish.
Well, he could have been a little bit more of a pleasant person.
Very well.
But, and I'm assuming there would be some nature of a sign, I would flip up the card that I've been spinning and snap my fingers, and I would magic missile the sign.
Nice.
I can do some things. Not everybody needs a gun, you simpleton. And back to spinning a card on my finger.
These are not simple devices. Were they so, I'm sure you could make one.
I don't need one. So shall we go get a drink?
No.
Well,
But we shall view the brewery, of course.
well, you might not have a drink. I'll have a drink.
Your funeral.
Oh, it's not as bad as the Marshal made it out to be.
Have you had their beer before?
No, but it can't be any worse than some of the slog that I've had in It's in the sewer areas.
Did you say sewers?
Yeah, that's what I call them. I don't know what they're actually called, but there are some places that smell pretty dingy, and you drink things to get drunk.
Very well.
And what you do is deceive people. You can't be picky. Can't be a choosing beggar after all.
So it seems.
So, Adam, do we have anybody that is close range at all?
Me?
That's all I
Yeah.
do.
Melee.
Okay. The rapier and stuff. I was thinking, you have a gun.
Blunderbuss is within 15 feet.
Okay.
I'll run you.
So we don't have any long range.
No. We're actually missing long range.
I have
You
Blade
can do
War,
60 feet.
Prestidigitation, Fairy
You're all
Fire,
range.
Thunder Wave, which is an AoE, Detect Magic, and Identify.
Cool.
Got some versatility there.
If someone wants to help me buy a weapon, then I could do long range.
I've got Ray of Frost at 60 feet. Magic Missile at 20 feet. 120 feet.
Yeah. Spells can get some real range on them.
Magic Missile doesn't do a lot of damage, though.
No. But it's guaranteed damage.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think we're going to head our way to Poxborough and start looking for this brewery.
Okay, sounds good.
Since you've been to the seedier sides of town, perhaps you might know where to find it.
Given that I knew of him, I imagine that the 20 would have given me... I've probably been in that area before. You know?
In Poxborough?
You know?
Yeah, no, you have.
Yeah. Let's go.
Lead the way.
Now we
You
start
can't.
heading.
I mean, you've never been to the Fruit of the Tail.
No.
You've heard of. You've heard of Pipatu, but like, I mean, it's
I've heard of Papacho is like, if you have a problem, this guy will fix it for you.
yeah. So you don't know the exact location of the Fruit of the Tail, but you're confident that you could ask around or figure it out when you're in Poxborough itself. Yeah.
So let's head to Foxborough.
Okay, so it's a couple of hours later. You find yourself in the dingy cobblestone street. Everything is perpetually slick with some kind of oil and smoke and
Gross.
fog. District of Poxborough, where the working poor live, and quite a lot of the city's non-human-looking population. So you are there. You've just crossed the border between Hunbrook, which is a sort of a middle-class district where artisans and academics live and do their work, and Poxborough itself, which is the working poor area. So where do you want to start?
Lead the way, card man.
I was just thinking,
It's Shadow Man.
well, let's see if we can find someone that looks inebriated.
Okay.
Should be good.
Now, since you've been to Poxborough before, you do know that there is a rather popular, though scummy kind of, as a dive bar essentially type place, called the Half-Cocked. It's a saloon in Poxborough.
Okay.
You know that if you head there, you are absolutely dead certain to find drunks and maybe some information, depending on, the money and the time, the availability. So,
Gonna fully button up the leather duster, hide the fine clothing, try to blend in a little bit more.
sure.
And we're looking for the tail. What's
For
the
Fruit of the Tail.
Fruit of the tail.
I'm literally wearing 2 scarves and that's it.
Nice.
Just evil eyeing you every now and again.
I've got fine clothes on that. I actually might still have it in drawing.
I have a lot of fine clothes, but all I'm wearing is like
They're
this.
fine in the sense that they're very thin.
very, very fine.
No, I got like 3 sets of fine clothes and 3 sets of costumes. And
Nice. Entertainers pack?
yeah,
Hmm.
and I got a lot of that stuff from my class too. and I'm wearing like a scarf that functions somewhat as a skirt,
Sure.
and a bandana.
Makes sense.
I head with half cocked.
Okay, so
Behind.
leads you to the half-cocked, a scummy-looking saloon. You can see it's made out of it's essentially raw planks of timber and shingling, and the place looks as bad as its clientele probably feels. So you head in, and you can see that the place at this hour, it's a little bit after standard industry sort of work shift. So you've got a lot of people in there, some humans, some dwarves and halflings, and mostly, so beast people and occasional plant kin. There's a 3 Kreen in the back. All drinking and chatting. It's sort of a medium kind of din. And you can see, sure enough, the tubby, for dwarf standards, saloon bartender Ragrum, who you've heard of before. And he is polishing the counter with what looks like a very dirty rag. And so you are in this sort of environment.
I would walk up to a bar stool at the bar and hop up and, hey Ragrum, can I have a drink?
Now, have you been to this saloon before?
I would have. I frequent saloons because it's kind of how I get money.
Sure,
So,
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is familiar with you already.
Bar schemes.
What the hell are you doing here?
Well, I'm trying to get drunk. How about yourself? Because it looks like you're not really cleaning the bar.
I'm trying to get paid, and I certainly can't do that with you buying dice. You think I don't remember what happened last time? Shadow Man.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You
I'll give
became
you-
a shadow and didn't pay me my goddamn gold.
How much do I get?
I don't think they've invented numbers for the exact value that. I don't think they have that. You'd have to go over to Hamburg and ask all the stuffed shirts over there exactly how much you owe me, because I can't fathom it.
I give you 5 gold and clean the bar. Will you give me a drink?
Fuck it. Fine.
Alright, so I give him 5 gold.
Not another word from you. You mind your business and you keep your nose out of things.
Oh, we both know that that's not going to happen.
Hey, but I can say it anyway. It makes me feel better.
So, prestidigitation and clean the bar, and I give him 5 gold.
He bites so each in piece
Oh, of course he
individually,
does. Yeah.
and then
Got a check.
sets
And
it
I've
aside.
probably given him fake gold before.
Is that all you're here for? Settling your term?
Well, of course not. You know I would never stop by just to give you money.
This is actually too clean.
Would you like it to be a little dirtier?
It'll fix itself.
No, I have been told that I should speak to someone at something about fruit of the tail. I'm in need of something being fixed.
Oh, that place.
well,
good
we both
God.
know that I have some problems that I create, and I've been told there's a fixer there.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is that the fruit of the tail is the place where you go to drink a drink that both tastes bad and will murder you.
Well, you probably won't mind not losing any more money if I get murdered, so
No.
where might I go to get murdered and have a drink that tastes bad?
You want to go to the fruit of the tail
Well,
for
yeah.
a drink?
Yes, let's say that. For a drink and to maybe get murdered.
They're not mutually exclusive.
I toss him another 5 gold pieces.
Catches it, bites each one individually, puts it out, and then. Alright, I don't know what your angle is, Shadow Man, but fruit of the tail is not hard to find. It's nestled in the southern end of the district. It's between I think it's one of the tailor's shops, and on the other side is a warehouse. I don't know what they store in it. It's a rickety looking place. That slim building there, from what I understand, is the fruit of the tail. Now, have you ever been inside? Don't know what the layout looks like, but
Well, and as we both know, if there's any problems, I didn't get this information from you.
no, I don't even bloody know you.
I have part of a drawing. I'm trying to find the whole one, but this is the cropped sketch that I did of her. She's incredibly thin, even for a gnome.
Yeah.
She's got like, the tan skin, and then she's got like copper hair and a messy ponytail, silver eyes. She's dressed, like Robert mentioned earlier, like a steampunk ballerina.
That's appropriate.
Yeah.
So I look away from the bartender and look to you and say, "Well, Gunman, we know where we're going."
I didn't go in the bar.
Oh, you didn't?
I'm standing outside that bar.
You
Yeah.
swivel along the chair. There's
Oh,
no
God.
one else there.
God damn it. I would swivel back to the bartender and thank him and say, "Well, you know the way that it is," and I snap my fingers and his bar's dirty again and I walk out.
Say where he just watches you leave.
Yep.
As you walking out, you get what you need.
Oh, Gunman, I know where we're going.
Good.
We're going to...
Gun lead.
Thank you.
Oh no, he's going to call me Cardman. This is what it's going to be.
Oh, I see. So man is sort of a gender neutral kind of insult. Okay. Got it.
I would let you know we're going to the south, between a tailor and a warehouse, and we probably going to die. It's going to be a good day.
Huh?
Great.
What is it with you guys and clothes?
I don't know. People like to buy things.
They're fashionable.
Keeps the water off your fur.
I never saw the point.
I would imagine so. Look,
Good
we
for
may as
hiding
well
things.
get down to this Fruit of the Tail, horrendously named place, and get things solved, right?
What sort of person do you imagine runs a place called Fruit of the Tail?
A grocer.
I was imagining more of probably a race that has a tail.
Grocers have tails, right?
Some do.
Grocers aren't a race, though.
Back in first edition.
I'll disagree. Yeah. You remember you can play a human, a magic user, and a grocer. Remember?
So we start walking to the south end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, to remind me,
Mm-hmm.
what are you wearing?
I have... So, obviously I'm wearing just a normal person's trench coat, but on me it comes down to like my calves, and under there I have just flamboyant, colorful...
Okay.
Trench coat is completely cinched
Sealed.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just the two scarves.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were just, as you described earlier.
Steampunk ballerina.
Steampunk ballerina.
It is
Got it.
qualified as fine
Fine.
clothes.
It is, okay, so it is fine
But
clothing.
I also have leather armor. So I imagine I've probably like somehow integrated that.
Sure, yeah.
It's fine leather armor.
God,
It's
where
fine.
is that
Yeah,
doodle?
It's fine.
I know I posted it on Twitter, but Twitter doesn't have a search function because Twitter's
So,
dumb.
you are making your way down an alleyway, cutting paths between two blocks to get to the south end. And you see that emerging from the opposite side are several rough and tumble looking human, what look like vagrants or ruffians. They're wearing sort of dingy blouses and leather pants. They've clearly got blades and pistols like at their hips, ready to go, exposed. You see a lot of them sort of make their way through the alley in an intercept course with you.
As soon as I see them, I would stop spinning my card and just flick out 4 more cards into my hand.
Okay.
So I have my full...
Prep the blunderbuss.
Okay. You see the gentleman at the front, who is tall and kind of husky and slightly balding. He's got sort of a thick goatee. He makes his way forward and he smiles at you, and you can see that several of his teeth on the top row are missing. He says,
To what do we owe the pleasure?
I'll tell you what, mate. You owe the pleasure to me. I'm going to take all your pleasure and your money and your clothes and maybe your lives.
Clothes? What is it with you guys in clothes?
Not yours. Got jumped up fruity here.
I would
We're going
make-
to take your clothes too. Otherwise, we're going to shoot you.
I would
And no one's going to find you.
go for a persuasion roll.
I need a spell that lets me deflect bullets with my melee weapon.
Or with your golden bracelets.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go for a persuasion,
Okay.
and
Persuasion roll, you say?
yeah,
That doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to persuade someone?
Well, I'm not the character that makes this go bad this time.
We'll see.
persuade him.
There's still
not-
time. Hold on to that hope.
It's kind of a persuasion to change his course of action,
Hmm.
and
I mean, that sucks about this leather jacket is it's hard to scratch it back.
Good for defense, bad for scritches.
As Leon can tell you, scritches are fine.
okay. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Does anybody want a mini?
I was just gonna use this. Keep it
Oh, I
simple.
should have brought my new ones.
I somehow don't have a fox with a shotgun.
I mean,
yet.
none of my none
What's-
of my
what's
new
wrong
ones
with
are
Yeah, I know.
gnomes.
I feel bad about
Still.
this.
How dare you?
You call yourself a furry. Actually, left them all at home. All right.
That would be.
This one just cracks me up. Just doing a very obvious sexy pose with two knives. It's super awkward.
Look at my sexy knives.
Yeah.
Aren't you attracted to my knives? They're
Knife
attracted
sexual.
to you.
I'm a 10th level grocer.
Okay.
Working the meat counter today, actually, in more ways than one.
Hey.
So I would
Let me bag that up for you.
walk up to him,
Okay.
and we're gonna go
So you're
for.
you're this guy right here.
Yeah,
You're-
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so
We're
you're
gonna go for persuasion,
Okay.
and yeah, this really isn't. This wouldn't be a deception, I don't think.
Use the broken.
Actually,
Depends if you're lying to her.
no. We're gonna go for intimidation.
Okay.
We're gonna change it up.
The language of violence.
It doesn't have to be violence. It just has to be
No, it has to be.
threatened violence.
It's the language of violence.
I thought the language of violence was German.
You're not too far off.
So I would.
Ah, this thing. On the phone.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Walk up to him, and I would look up and say, "Well, you know, none of us really do have any money, but you might want to let us go on our way because we do have other things that could be, inconvenient for you and your four friends." And
Thank you.
at that point, I would flip up a card and snap my fingers, and right in front of his nose, just a shower of sparks explodes. And
So that's intimidation.
when you're 3 foot tall, yeah.
Well, that's fine. No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
What skill is being rolled here?
And that intimidation. That would be a 20.
Damn.
Oh, that reminds me. Quick, everybody roll
Okay.
a separate d20 and we'll do fortune. I keep forgetting that. Please remind me when I
Yeah.
do this.
1 negative.
1 negative.
One positive.
One positive.
Okay, makes it easy for me.
Nice and even. And
One positive. So that's a pool, right? So that functions as like inspiration, right?
Mhm.
There you go. All right. So you rolled a what? Total?
20.
20. Okay. And this
Isn't there something about? Oh yeah, you're. It doesn't matter. It's non-humans that have problems
Yes.
with humans.
Mhm.
With
Yeah, I didn't have to take the charisma hit as a halfling. I
Yeah.
checked.
Halflings are close
Yeah.
enough.
Mhm. Yeah, basically demi-humans and humans, they've got like
face and nose and 4 limbs and everything. Like, it makes sense. The humans are like, you're not a pure human. I don't like you as much, but like, at least you look human. Any races that don't look actively human are like, no thank you.
Hard pass.
Yeah, so you happen to look human enough that you're not going to, there won't be a penalty
Yep.
there. He's going to resist this with... What is that, a wisdom save?
I don't know.
If you were making an active sort of...
God, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. I'm going to call it a wisdom save.
Yeah.
Intimidation is a charisma, so
Okay. You rolled a... Let's see. I'm going to spend one of these.
Give it a little boost.
We'll roll again. Ooh, rolled a 17. So, there's this... So you look at the card over here. There's this spray of prismatic light. And you see him... What the hell was that?
it's just a taste of what could be if you don't just let us walk on our way. Obviously, we don't have any money for you to take.
Yeah, but you still got your things.
Look, we both know that you could go 2 blocks down, and you're going to find much better marks that are probably much less well armed.
Persuade.
You got that?
Apply some logic. Logic applied directly to the
That it's going to be a 14.
14. Okay.
And we're going to... I don't have another 10, and I don't want to force a card again. I only have 4 of those a day. Yeah.
Okay. You roll a 17.
Of course
So,
I did.
he sort of looks at you and he says, that doesn't matter. You... Why is he Scottish also? You are the prize right now. And we are going to take your shit.
And then I grab his arm and shocking grasp.
Nice.
Okay, so you will get that one interrupt, and then we'll have to roll for initiative.
Yep.
So, shocking grasp?
Is he wearing any metal?
No.
Yeah, probably not. Leathers at best.
Then it's when the lightning damage and he doesn't get a reaction until my next turn.
You have to make a roll for it.
That would be that. Yep. If I happen to succeed on this. That would be a 17.
17. Yeah.
Cool.
That hits.
I like it, I like it, I like it.
So, so the boss-looking guy has got disadvantage on what?
He just can't make reactions until my next turn.
Okay, so no reactions. Got it.
And he only takes 2 lightning damage, but
And 2 like
because you don't add anything for.
Okay.
Nope, not for spells.
All right. So this is quick. There's this spark of electricity. Oh, you hear it react, and now we will roll initiative.
7.
Yeah, I'm last.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go to the restroom.
Okay.
I rolled a 1.
Ah, very nice.
So did I. What's
So
your
you both
bonus?
rolled a 1. What's your bonuses?
So your dex.
3. So I rolled a 4 total.
Okay, so I'm going after you.
Okay.
He's got a plus.
We all rolled
3.
poorly.
So you get to 4.
Plus
Did you at least roll
yeah.
well?
I get to
No,
3.
I didn't.
Nice, we all rolled poorly.
So Shadow Man and then Linny.
I got a 9.
And you got a 9.
you're going
Okay.
first. And 7 for Kyoka.
Okay. All right. Velvet, you go first.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Wow, they rolled pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, I'm going
Nobody
to
rolled
move
above 10.
in the center of these guys, and
Okay.
I'm going to start a step,
Okay.
and everybody within 5 feet of me has to make a dexterity save at... Did I write that down?
Everybody?
Everybody...
Within 5.
Within 5 feet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's moved up in
here.
here.
Save
I see.
is... Save DC is 13.
13. Dex save. Okay, that was a 17, so
1's good.
he's fine.
2's good.
Found it.
Number 3? Ooh,
Three's not
number
so
3
good.
failed.
Number 4 failed as well.
Nice.
Number 5 is
Good
fine. So
description.
3 and 4 failed that deck save.
Okay, they take weapon damage.
Okay.
So that's 6 for 1, for a 3, and 6 for 4.
Nice,
Okay.
isn't it?
So what weapon are you wielding? What are you actually...
It's a scimitar.
Okay, so you're doing a sort of
Nice.
whirling dervish kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you... Describe your dance. What are you doing?
So she starts out as it above her head like this,
Mm-hmm.
and just starts pirouetting.
Cutting and slashing, yes. So 2 of the bandits, you hear a and their midsections, you can see a bright red scar, traced across. Crimson red of blood advertising.
Thanks, Shadow Man.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Is that all you wanted to do?
That's all I can do.
Okay. Kyoko. So your turn.
So how does spread actually work?
Spread. You can put it on toast. Ooh.
Like some butter?
Jam. This jam is spread. The way spread works, or I guess it's called scatter, right?
Yeah, I think it is scatter.
So scatter.
No, it's a
When you hit a
D6.
creature with a firearm that has the scatter property, creatures within 5 feet of that target take scatter damage if the attack would hit them.
Damn.
The original
Okay.
target does not take that extra damage. So you're using a blunderbuss, right? So
Yep.
blunderbuss has got scatter 1d6. So you're rolling the d12 for your
Target.
target,
And everybody else gets the D6.
within 5 gets a d6. Yeah. Provided it would hit them as well.
Okay.
So I'm checking against that their AC as well.
How'd you feel about maybe getting shot?
You know? I'm not thrilled about it.
That's fair.
I do have decent AC.
With your 2 scarves, your 2 armored scarves.
Yes, you gotta love unarmored defense.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, maybe we gamble then. Okay, so I'll just stay where I am, level it at number 2,
Okay.
catch almost everybody there. If
Okay. So let's
they
roll for number
managed to
2.
Yeah. Natural 20.
Oh,
Nice.
shit.
Thank you for rolling a natural 20,
20.
because we're going to check out the crits. Okay, so that
The
is
greatest crits.
that is a
Episode title found.
nice crits.
No.
Look at the crits on that.
Huge tracks of land. Okay, so you rolled a 20, and you're attacking number 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, so roll another 20.
Okay.
Roll the d20.
2.
2. Okay. Roll your damage dice twice, and use the highest result.
Well, one was a 1. The other was a 9.
9.
We'll
Okay,
take that
so
9.
9 damage to number 2. Okay.
Okay.
What have you got loaded in the blunderbuss, by the way?
I'm imagining it was, you're looking at like nails, garbage, some leftover and loose materials of that sort, rocks,
Sure. Yeah.
a little bit of salt and pepper for flavor.
So a lot of you see this, and there's this massive glimmer of material shoots into the bandit next to you, and there's this sort of explosion of blood, and he crumples over, not dead, but he's severely wounded, directly in center mass. And then,
Done.
so within that, so that's 5. So we got to check 1 and these people.
Okay. So
Which
You
one's the dude we were
20
talking to?
plus 5, so
Who's the one we're
25.
talking to?
Yeah.
So no, I'm checking your original attack roll against everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So 20 hits, I think you as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody gets hit. So you roll
Okay.
the d6.
Yeah. Do I roll it once for everybody or per target?
I think you roll it once.
Cool. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
1. So not bad.
I
Okay.
can live with that.
Yeah. Just 1.
8, 3, and 4
Mhm.
also take 1,
Everybody but 5.
and then of course Velvet also takes 1 piercing damage.
from a
kind of cover
nail in
my
your ass.
backside and like.
A nail in your ass.
Maybe wear some armor next time.
Okay, now the bandits get to
Okay.
go.
Buckle up.
So, bandit number 1, you're the leader here. He
Funky bunch.
draws his flintlock pistol, leveling it at you,
Of course,
Shadow Man. And he says, "You fucked up now,"
Oh, it won't be the last time.
and fires his weapon. You will do so with advantage.
Fair enough.
21.
It does hit.
Damn.
Okay, so he is dealing 5 piercing damage to you.
All right.
So remind me, if my weapon's finesse, does my dex get added to the damage, or is it just the to hit?
Both.
But
Oh.
yeah, basically you're swapping out strength for dex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can never remember how that worked.
Changed between 3.5
Oh, it's a
and 5.
proficiency bonus that I'm supposed to add to one of those, right? So
Proficiency bonus goes to the attack,
to hit.
never the damage.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I always get confused about. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So my to hit is my dex and my proficiency.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then your damage is just the damage of the weapon plus dex.
Dex.
Yeah. Okay, so number 2 here, having taken this full blast of Kyoko's blunderbuss, is going to back away, stumbling past his bandit friend. You do get an attack of opportunity, if I'm not mistaken, if you do have still have a reaction.
What kind of race did you say these guys?
These are humans.
Humans?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're bigger than we are.
Oh, probably not. 10.
Nope, that's a miss. Okay. You're unable to. The quarters are kind of cramped in this alley. There's a lot of sort of discarded barrels and,
I think I
and
need
trash.
new dice because I consistently rolled low.
Yeah.
These 2 bandits
For a
here,
refresh.
they also draw their pistols and fire at you. So these 2 here. That's a 5
No.
and a 16.
The ties go to the defender.
No, ties
Nope,
go to attack.
that's a
That's a
mash.
attacker.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he hits.
5 piercing damage.
Oof. That hurts.
Number 5 here takes his pistol out and, aiming between his 2 friends and past Velvet, tries to take a shot at Lenny.
Alright.
He will have disadvantage for this because it's cramped quarters and there's so many
Yeah.
people in front of him. So that is a 17 to hit you.
I got a
Jeez.
13 AC, so
Dude rolled well.
7 piercing damage.
that's almost all of my hit points.
On the bright side, we have 5.
Did anybody here have healing?
Not yet.
Well, you're the bard.
I didn't take any healing spells.
We just gotta survive then.
Shadow, it's your turn.
All right. I'm going to.
I don't know if Jason would let me retroactively take a healing spell.
If you want to, that's fine. We're early
I'll do
days.
that.
I mean,
No spells have been cast yet.
man, if you're at a boss fight, then no.
Mm.
It's too late. You've come too far.
React.
Yeah,
So if he
kind
can't,
of you took
no. If he can't react,
Mm-hmm.
can he take attacks of opportunity?
No,
Okay.
those are reactions.
He's got a
Then-
gun anyway, doesn't he?
We're going.
They've
to,
all got guns. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But they may be well enough trained that they can use them in melee.
So we're gonna go for shocking grasp
Maybe.
again.
Yeah, those are because they're not bows or crossbows. They're small arms, and so they're designed to be like
I'm gonna
Close
you can do
quarters.
those close quarter stuff. Yeah.
Pop one.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna spend one of the fortune? Sure.
Yeah, because apparently I'm incapable of rolling at 10
I don't know. You rolled well earlier.
when it didn't
It's not
matter.
combat.
Yeah, no. That was 13. Is the
13
best
hits.
we've got. Oh,
Mhm.
okay then. Well.
So what are you doing? Who are you doing it to, and what
One.
horrible thing you're doing? So okay, you the boss.
Shocking him.
Shocking him again. Okay.
And he takes 5 damage. He
Oof.
can't react, and then I'm going to move back. And
Here? No.
yeah, that's
Sorry.
me.
Here?
There you go.
Yeah, the 20, whatever, 25 feet.
Oh,
will
good.
be.
My phone's doing that thing again.
Yay! It's like a
Scroll.
it's like a very lazy barcode.
Yeah.
And then I can still take a bonus action, yeah?
Mhm.
Yep. If you have something it'll use.
Well, just a bonus action to fill up my hand.
Okay. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, Linny, it's actually your turn.
Okay. So these are 2 party members.
Mm-hmm.
Party member.
All the D6s are
the bad guys.
Okay.
Number 1, the leader, who Shadow Man was just talking to earlier, has just been hit by another one of his shocking grasps and is currently convulsing on his feet.
Okay.
If you can get one out of the way, I can take lead.
Well, I'm going to use a bonus action to perform healing word on myself.
Good call.
Okay, sounds good.
1d4 plus myself.
What is the word?
The word is good.
Do I have to have a word for this?
No, I'm just curious
Yes.
about what the healing word is.
Oh. I don't fucking know.
Alakazam!
Might I suggest bird
It is a good
Terrible.
word.
or
Word
grease?
up.
Grease.
Grease is the word.
Grease is a separate spell, though.
It's also a word.
That's fair.
There might be confusion with the
All
healing
right.
and the grease.
That gets me back up to full.
Hey, it'll never happen again.
No. Okay, so that was my bonus action.
Mm-hmm. I've got an action and your movement.
Do I want to do an attack or do I want to use Blade Ward? I'm gonna pop a Blade Ward.
Okay.
I'd recommend just go after one. I gave you the quick tap. Get him out of the way. I can take front.
Blade Ward's gonna keep me from taking damage from their guns until the end of my next turn, which means I can.
Does Blade Ward provide piercing damage resistance?
I believe so. I believe it's piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning resistance.
So that's just half damage.
Yeah, so you'll take half if it's resistance. Yeah.
Well, let me see. Resistance against bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage.
Okay,
If
so
I
yeah,
weapon
so you'll take
attacks.
half, right? And that's from anything they do to you, because
Yeah.
you can see that they've got the scimitars and then the flintlocks.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pop your Blade Ward. You want to move, or is that it?
I will move this way to kind of
Okay.
clear the way for you guys.
Velvet, you're back up.
I'll do the step again. Everybody has to make a
Dex saves. Okay. Number 1, the boss, making a dex save. 10.
Misses.
Number 3, 16.
Makes it.
Number 4, 16.
Misses.
Number 5,
No,
13.
it's only within 5.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay. So number 1 is the only one. The boss is the only fail.
6 damage.
All right. So, how do you kill him? What dance? Yeah, describe the whirling of your dervish.
The dance of death.
So I'm swinging, making a big display out of swinging the scimitar around.
Oh, of course.
And just slices in from the hip to the shoulder.
All right. So there's this kind of angular slice, and you can see, Lenny, that the boss, and there's a spray of blood, and he sort of collapses in front of you to the cobblestones. So he's
Cool.
dead.
Okay, that was my action.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
You're fine there. Don't worry about it.
Oh shit.
We got this.
Because, yeah, you said that they can...
You can fire in melee. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, we got this.
Like I said, if it were bows or crossbows, just because of the mechanisms and the way that they work, like
They're longer, so they're hard
Yeah.
to use in melee.
right,
It's
but
easier to
a gun
dodge
is
out
so
of the
easy
way.
to like at your hip
Yeah,
and
to
just fire.
Swivel.
Well, ranged weapons usually don't get attacks of opportunity.
So you're gonna
Well, they do have
roll
scimitars.
switch.
So
Yes, but are they drawn?
The scimitars aren't drawn. No.
So you can't make attack of opportunity.
Then you can safely leave, I think.
Okay, so they cannot make attacks of opportunity with their pistols.
You don't believe so?
I don't think so.
They would need a special ability to be able to do it normally.
Then they don't. No.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to back up here.
Okay, sounds good. Kyoko.
With a handful of like gravel and other stuff quickly stuffed in, we're gonna do like a baseball slide up, aim for number 5, and pull the trigger.
Number 5 back here.
Yep.
Okay.
I'd like to use a
Fortune.
just to get advantage on
Sounds
this.
good. Advantage for you.
My ammo's expensive. Is it 10 or 8? Okay, so 15 to hit.
That does hit.
All right.
Okay, roll for damage on number 5.
5 takes 11.
11 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Damn.
So, the majority of the shot catches number 5. He sees you coming with the slide. You see him kind of in slow motion, sort of try to turn around. His feet get kind of slide on the slick cobblestones, and you catch him sort of at the chin. And you basically see this mist of blood, and this guy disappears from your vision.
And then scatter 3 points to everybody else. If 15 will hit them.
Yes, it does. So 3 points to
Alright.
3, 4, and 2. Okay. The shrapnel is enough to kill that guy as well. An errant piece of glass or a nail cuts an artery in his neck, and he collapses against the side of the alley, slowly bleeding out. These two look pretty rough. It's their turn. They see the bodies of their fellow bandits around them in the alley, and they turn and they book it. They run down the alley, around the corner, and you can hear their steps echoing on the cobblestone streets for a couple of minutes.
Okay, so let's loot the bodies.
Turn and face everybody else. Not bad. Good work.
Okay, so
Well done to everybody else.
these kind of rough and tumble these bandits here have got
All I did was get hit.
they got leather armor,
And you did it
pretty
well.
standard. I mean, they're in the sense that their
I thought they were
clothing
gonna
is like
last longer.
slightly reinforced.
As then I would get
Uh,
more than one turn.
They've each got scimitars, and they each have flintlock pistols.
Is a scimitar considered a simple weapon?
No.
No, scimitars are martial weapon.
Oh, okay.
Flintlock. What's
Pick
that?
up a flintlock.
Flintlock does a d6.
It's a sidearm.
Yeah, it's cider. Yeah. So a flintlock pistol, if you're going to pick one up, and there are currently 3 of them available, right,
Mm-hmm.
on the bodies.
So D6.
They do a d6 of piercing damage. They have a range of 30/90,
Okay.
and they are loading, light, and misfire 3.
Ah. All right.
Okay. And you find amongst them 7 shots for the flintlock pistol.
What stat do these run off of?
That's
Dex.
7 total amongst them.
Dex.
And that's 7 total shots amongst the bodies. That's all they had on them.
Okay.
Are they technically finesse, or do they just run off of Dex?
Just
They're-
run off of
They're
deck.
ranged weapons.
Yeah, they're just straight range weapons.
Okay, so they don't get the bonus to damage.
I mean, they
They
get
still do.
dex to damage. Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't have to be finesse.
I see.
Finesse just means you're essentially swapping in your to hit
Is piercing or
Strength.
bludgeoning that they do?
piercing.
Piercing.
Piercing pistols all do piercing damage unless really specified otherwise, right?
And so they had 7 rounds, and we've got
7
2
rounds
people
amongst
that are
all.
taking these.
Take the 7. If nobody else wants the pistols, I'll take the 2 pistols and toss them when we're done.
All right.
Okay.
I really prefer to use my rapier, but it's good to have long range capability as well.
Of course.
All right. So
Did
you are
they
now.
have any gold on them?
No, they did not. They were looking to get some from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's wondering if they'd gotten any other marks earlier.
Apparently not.
Slow day.
It's going to be slow for the rest of time, I think. A dead stop, actually. So, a lot of you are now standing in a sort of dingy alley with the corpses of these three bandits on the ground and against the walls. There was a firefight, and the sounds of pistols and magic and slashing, bounced off the walls and everything and echoed through.
Mild tinnitus.
Yeah, it's a little ringing in here, but there doesn't appear to be any grand reaction coming from either side of the alley that you're in. So presumably,
We're in a shitty enough part of town that this is normal.
this is probably normal. You hear a gunshot and you're like, oh well, that's
Not
probably
my problem.
It's not my problem.
Basically Englewood.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm going down the alley.
Let's keep on.
You're gonna make your way towards Fruit of the Tail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I look at you and do you have any healing?
I do.
I could use it.
I use my one other spell slot to heal you.
Okay.
Make it count.
Take the shot.
How many hit points are you missing?
I'm currently missing 6.
Okay.
On a scale from 0 to
From 1 to 10, how bad is your pain?
yeah.
Where
How
on the
severe
doll
is
is
your
your
pain?
pain?
Oh, good.
Ooh,
Good
nice.
news. You got max. You get 8 hit points back,
There we go.
which is more than your max.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my second spell. Although I can still perform Identify as a ritual.
Mm-hmm. You take 10 minutes. Yeah.
And I've got my cantrips, Blade Ward, and Prestidigitation.
Okay.
Prepped and ready.
So you make your way through the alley, into the street, down the way, heading further east, and sure enough, you see sandwiched between a very modest tailor's shop and a sort of a large brick warehouse. You see a thin, slightly off-kilter building made of brick and stone that has a crude hanging plank attached just above the door frame, and in what looks like a dark red color. It doesn't look like paint either. Kind of staining the wood, says "Fruit of the Tail."
Now, remember, we need information.
I can do information.
Good.
They
But
haven't,
we're also
they haven't perfected the corpse brain reading technology that you're thinking of, unfortunately.
I've also been hired for a hit job.
Remember your order, though. One, then the other.
I don't think that I'm the one with the massive boom gun.
I'll be holding off until things kick off.
Well, walking in there seems like a bad idea.
What would
As a
you
group, yes. Perhaps if one of you would like to step in for a drink?
Alright.
Not me. I'll stick out like a sore thumb.
You're the one that likes to go in the shitholes.
You're right. Let's go for it.
Phrasing. Okay, so are you heading? Are you leading
Yep.
the charge? Okay.
Is it that kind of?
Would you
bar?
like to bring any arm candy?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think this is that kind of joint.
It's
it's
called
a
Fruit of
gay
the
bar.
Tail. What do you expect? What is
Mm.
the fruit located near the tail?
Gay bar.
You guys, you cracked it. You got it in one. It's a gay bar. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't think people usually go here for drinks.
It's.
Even my barkeep
So
said
maybe
that this is swill.
2 of
I
the
will
women should go
defer.
in together.
I will defer to your judgment.
I don't know. Is it a gay bar? Is it like men and women who are gay, or just the men?
It's actually just plants.
Just plants.
Just gay plants.
Gay plants. Okay.
Specifically.
Well, then we're fucked.
Yeah.
No, we're
In a
discreetly.
non-literal sense.
Oh.
Yeah, we're discreetly not fucked in this situation.
If you're in a good enough spot that you have arm candy, you're probably not going here.
Very well.
So you're just heading inside, sort of on your own.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you'll be the first.
Everyone
to-
here has ugly boyfriends.
I think
is
it
what
might
we're
be on
saying.
my own.
What's that?
I think it might be on my own from what I got in.
Okay. Are you guys gonna stay outside?
Until we get a signal,
Yeah.
we'll be outside.
I would not fit in.
I'm sure any sort of magic will catch our attention.
You'll hear a loud something if things go wrong.
Very well.
If you like, I can give you bardic inspiration before you go in.
Sure.
Alright. That's one of those. I'll add a d6 to any
D20 roll.
d20.
Alright.
Okay, so you head on in. You push the door up. It is unlocked and swings freely open.
Any ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
And you can see inside a ramshackle sort of foyer leading into a slightly larger room, and kind of still boxy given the shape of the total building. And there is a squat-looking bar made out of some clearly aging timber. There is a small display behind the bar, 2 shelves full of unlabeled liquor, or what you presume to be liquor based on the color and consistency. And there are 3 sets of tables, each with essentially planks nailed together to form chairs. The tables and the chairs look to have been stained beyond recognition. Whatever color they are now a deep, deep black brown. And in the back, you can see that there is just beyond the bar off to the left, there is a sort of a doorway, sort of a double doorway, actually, without the doors. So essentially this sort of arc, right? And then you can see some stairs leading down. You can hear, as you walk in, the sounds of speech, talking of sort of a medium to low volume coming from downstairs.
Okay.
No one is in this front area. Would you like to set the building on fire?
I pour myself a drink.
Okay, what bottle is your fancy?
Pick a color, any color.
The darkest one up there.
Okay, so you take down it looks like a medicine bottle in that it's sort of that flat, squarish looking bottle with a small top, sort of a cylindrical top. You get that down, pop the cork open, and you begin to you turn it over this one sort of shot glass that you found unattended at the bar. And you can see that what you were expecting to be sort of free-flowing liquid is actually very slowly sort of oozing out of the bottle and slopping into the shot glass.
I smell it.
It smells, oddly enough, like bacon.
Bacon grease.
Are you still with Halfling?
Doesn't look like bacon grease, but it certainly does smell like bacon.
I dip my finger in it and see what it tastes like.
Okay, give me a Constitution save.
Lightfoot
Nice.
halfling.
That's going to be lightweight halfling, we'll see.
It'll be a 17.
Ooh,
17.
alright.
Okay. So you're just kind of taking a finger and you put this substance in your mouth, and immediately it feels the mouthfeel. As we drift through. It's like black treacle. I mean, it's like old sap sucked out of a tree. It is suddenly both. It's acrid, and for some reason it's burning. Like it's actively burning your tongue.
Okay.
You might have just drank a cleaning solution.
Right then.
I see what they mean about having a shitty drink and dying.
I'm going to roll a perception check to see if I
Apparently
can make
you
out
do
any of
those
what they're saying.
simultaneously.
Trying to listen in.
Yeah,
Sure.
exclusive.
Yeah. Give me a perception check.
I don't hear anything they're saying. In fact, I might have put some of their solution in my ears.
Okay. Plugged it in.
Clear those ears
Now
out.
your ears are burning.
Yeah.
Literally.
Unfortunately, yes. I haven't had an opportunity to go. I told her to get ready for bed quite a while ago.
So at this point, I would I just walk outside and let you guys know that there's not anybody in there if it does it's downstairs.
Well, that makes it easier. Ready the blunderbuss, shall we?
That doesn't seem like a talking device.
No, it's an instrument of intimidation.
It speaks a different language.
Language of violence.
German.
There it is.
Achtung!
Alright, head back in.
Okay, so you head back in?
Yeah.
Are you guys following suit? Or?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Take a second.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to stealthily start going down the stairs.
Okay, give me a stealth check, please.
I can join you with that.
Yes, and I'll go too. Even though I'm rolling
Stealth
like
checks.
Hey, that's not under 10.
22.
15.
Where'd it go? Hey, 17.
shit. Okay, 22.
Same here, yeah.
We succeed as a group.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh.
So, 22,
22.
22,
22.
22,
22.
20.
20,
See, and a 15 is what's going to get us because he re-rolled.
15. Okay. So, with you leading the charge, you are all sort of slinking down the stairs. And you can see that the light from outside, from the sort of slatted windows that were in the first floor, essentially, you see these stairs are literally leading down to a basement. And you can see as you're making your way down several oaken banded barrels. It looks like this is a sort of the equivalent of a storage room, a winery, brewery sort of storage room. You can see barrel after barrel stacked on high shelves and some standing on the floor, lying there with their tops open or closed. And as you're making your way down, Shadow Man, you hit the last step, and all of you hear this unearthly. Suddenly, the talking from farther in that you can hear coming from as you're making your way down the extreme right. You haven't been able to see there yet because there's these massive shelves in the way. Stops instantly. What do you do? Do you stay there on the stair? Or do you try again?
You got lead. Unless, is it like wide enough for two people to go down side by side?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What
I'll
do
take
I
the
kind of
lead
what am I
as
seeing
he's-
here at the bottom of the
It's
stairs?
taking a moment.
At the immediate bottom of the stairs, you can see it's a kind of a rough, kind of it's earthen floor, right?
Okay.
It looks like it's been sort of smoothed over. You can see that there are several. There are two barrels just in front of you against a series of horizontal shelves upon which barrel after barrel after barrel have been stacked. There's some scattered barrels here. There's one there. And with your sort of cone of vision, tracing here all the way to here, you see nothing but sort of discarded barrels and empty parts of shelves, the occasional wine stain or what looks like a puddle of beer, and nothing else.
Well, I'm gonna go down to the dirt. I mean, I guess that's gonna be quieter than the stairs.
Okay, so you make your way down to the dirt section.
Mm-hmm.
So you're here. As soon as your foot hits dirt, you hear the sound of a gunshot. So that is a
Yeah, that hits.
20. It's not a natural 20.
Oh, did you add my bardic inspiration to your stealth?
Oh, I didn't, but it's too late for that now.
No, we'll roll it and we'll see if that changes things.
It's a d6.
20. So that the stealth roll would have been a 20.
Okay, so none of this happened.
Okay.
So you go down. So it's entirely quiet. You make your way down these stairs, which have been well maintained and greased and oiled.
I forgot about bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
And
Everybody
you
is.
and so you now see this.
It was a real problem the last
this
time I played this character.
Okay.
The talking is still happening. From your perspective, it's coming from somewhere in the rear of the room to your right.
Okay. If I gather that it's coming down here, I would probably try to stop. There.
So here, you can actually be here. There's just some barrels. Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, what are you going to do? Are you doing the kind of lean
Yeah,
across?
kind of lean and see if I can catch a glance.
Okay, so you see around a series, two barrels, a pair of barrels here. You can see some rat folk, and they look like they are playing some kind of card game, poker maybe, pinochle. And let's see. And you, as you were passing by, you saw in the distance, as you were making your way past the sort of barrier wall there, you saw another rat folk. It looks like he was trying to open one of the casks that was in there with a spigot.
I would hold up a 4, just kind of.
Okay.
Give you a nod.
There you go.
And I would gesture to you and.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can move over here.
Okay, that's going to require another stealth check.
I think I'm going to use one of our
I can,
fortune.
No, I can't give you bonus inspiration without breaking stealth.
Yep. I'm just going to hope for
Fortune?
the best. Yep.
Okay. Spending fortune.
Good thing.
Maybe.
No. 10 total. I rolled a 5 and a 4.
Okay.
Thanks, Dad.
All right.
Barely.
So, so you're heading down this way. How are you doing this? Are you like
Low
making
to
a
the
quick
ground.
dart? Okay.
Yeah, like leap bounding fox.
Okay. So you bound down this way to the second set of shelves here, long horizontal shelves, in this sort of like pocket of barrels that is off to the side, and you manage to sort of slightly nudge the one next to you. You quickly sort of react and grab onto it, and the conversation stops for 2-3 seconds, and then
Hold
picks
breath.
back up.
Sneaky.
Plan?
Yeah. What do you think? We like rush them, do a little countdown, and both turn and.
I mean, I've got 6 health, so.
I got 11. I can take a hit. Just one.
I can take a hit. I mean, as long as they're not rolling not 6. If I can get into the throng, then I have thunderclap.
That's a bit of a run.
I took that one too. Well, I took Thunder Wave.
I also have.
Wave's nice. Get to project in front of you.
As far as distance, I have Ray of Frost as a cantrip.
Do you want to like snag 2? I'll see if I can close the distance and like blast a group of them, and that should weaken them up.
Do we want to? I could do something as a.
Yeah. Get on that top step.
Bottom step.
Thought.
Oh yeah.
I could make some sort of distraction prestidigitation behind him.
But prestidigitation, you have to make a noise when you cast it.
That's fine. The noise that's going to happen is going to be louder behind him. I can like make a fire behind him at the barrels. He's going to react to that. They're going to react to him. That gives you at least a little bit of. Or you could try to sneak up the open. I mean, they're playing cards.
I was thinking throw stealth out the window. If we're
Okay.
going to be shooting, just hit that corner, bolt towards them, and pull the trigger.
Then I would pull out 5, 10, 15, 20, 22.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
could potentially sneak around.
Then I'm
Could
going
get
to pull
around
out.
the corner, yeah.
I'm going to pull out my
Get
pistol.
a weird
and
angle, but it's possible.
We'll give it a go.
Okay.
That would be great for my Thunder Wave.
If you think you can sneak up,
So what's happening here? Who's doing what first?
so how
Or is this
confident
supposed
do
to be
you feel?
simultaneous?
We'll
Well,
see.
I only have a movement of 25. But I guess since we're not in initiative, then I can.
Yeah. How confident are you can make 2 stealth rolls effectively?
I've got a +2 to stealth. It's not bad, but it's
You and
not
I can prep. If she makes a noise, we go for it.
That's a good idea.
It's not a bad start. I can only prep movement or the shot. And I'm not in range for the shot. So I can get in close.
I'll prep. If she fails her stealth roll, I'm going to Ray of Frost 2.
Is your blunderbuss like 20 or something?
15.
15,
Yeah. Actually, I'll use one of the flintlocks. And we'll just target...
Yeah, you got one.
You
I
know,
took all the bullets.
we'll target
so-
3.
Oh, they're 30.
I figured each one was loaded.
Okay.
Just get the one shot and discard it.
Then yeah, actually.
Well, the ones that everyone fired their pistol once
Ah, okay.
didn't necessarily reload, so they are empty.
So we'll take one of those, just so it's loaded.
So I would actually use my. I'm close enough that I use my flintlock. Yep. If she fails a sneak roll,
Okay,
I'm
then
going to
you're ready. You're
flintlock
both
2.
both of you readying an action to fire.
Yep.
Yep.
Just
I'm targeting 3.
okay.
I'm targeting 2.
3 and 2. Got it. Okay. So what? So what you're trying to make your way past here?
And
Go around
then
the corner so I
over
can
on
pop
this
my
side?
thunder
Yeah.
wave.
Okay. So
I'm gonna use a.
it'd be like 2 moves.
Use a fortune.
okay. So as you pass by here, so you got 25
Five
movement speed,
movement.
right? So
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. As you're passing through here, make a stealth check.
Go advantage.
I think I succeeded either way. Yeah. So I get a 21.
Okay.
Right
Yeah.
away.
So you're able to very quickly sort of bound over there and make your way next, kind of crouch next to the array of barrels next to Kyoko.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to try to move around here.
Okay. Now, that's where these like straight horizontal lines are. It's kind of hard to tell, I
Yeah.
know, but here, and here, they don't have barrels on them. They're empty slats, right? So as you're passing through here, I need one more stealth check.
Okay. I'll use another
Okay.
inspiration. Or not
And I'm
inspiration,
still
fortune.
prepped if she.
Yep. Ready for the shot. Not bad. On the table. Not
Okay,
bad.
13.
Okay, so as you're making your way past here, you are
Oh
coming.
wait, I don't have a spell slot for thunder wave.
Oh well, we didn't. We're
We're good. We're here.
We're committed.
We're doing it.
As you're coming across along and
It's
making
fine.
your way
Mhm.
around the
This is
side of
fine.
this
It's all fine.
shelf, you see as you're making your way out of the periphery of your vision, this ratfolk character. He turns absent-mindedly to look at the nearest keg, and the two of you, for the briefest moment, lock eyes. And then there's a second or two of dead, incredibly slow silence. What the?
I
And
want
you-
to cast Blade Ward the first opportunity I get.
Okay. Now we need to roll initiative because the rats are now.
Do I have a chance to cast Blade
Freaked
Ward
out.
before we do that?
Yeah, you got a chance to cast
Okay,
it. Yeah.
I'll do that.
God damn it.
Yeah. Same initiative roll as last time.
7.
7.
8.
7 and 8.
I've got a
15.
+3. Not that
Yeah, I
much
got
matters.
+3. It just
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
So,
Yeah.
so who had the 8? I'm sorry.
I had the 8.
So Velvet, 8, and then you had a 7.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
15.
15 for Lenny.
And another 7 for Kyoko.
7 for Kyoko. So who between you two have the higher dex mod?
Tied.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
whenever you'd like to go. Well, who wants to go first? Shadow or
Shadow
Kyoko?
Man can go.
Okay, got it. And we are rolling for the rat. Okay,
We're all rolling great today,
Wiry?
guys.
Oh no, they're not so wiry. Okay.
rats are going last.
Well, it was a surprise.
Okay, Lenny, it's actually your turn.
Okay. So, let's see. Since I'm in close range, I guess how far up do the barrels go? Could I like potentially try to fire over or around them? I guess I'm really small too.
No, these barrels are like these shelves. There are 2 rows of barrels, like one on top of the other, and there's some space in between with the frame and everything like
So
that.
where did he get the view of me?
because this is empty, passing through the barrels, like looking through the slat,
I
turning
see.
around, looking at a keg, and seeing your face.
So if I wanted an
Cross.
actual shot at them, I would have to come around the corner.
You have to come around. Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping for an opportunity to use the flintlock.
You could. Okay. You know, there is enough space there where you could conceivably take your pistol and kind of like jam it in between some of the barrels and fire. But that would be a disadvantage.
Okay.
Just fire and leave the gun jammed in there.
It's fine. It's possible. You don't need it anymore. It's one shot. All right. We'll leave it here.
Pirate rules, right?
I don't know, because they're gonna come around the corner, then I would want to have another weapon ready when they're in melee.
So, turn-wise, you could shoot with your standard, drop it as a free action, and then
Bonus action.
Can I use
equip
my-
your
you
weapon.
can draw as part of the move.
Yeah.
Your item interact.
We'll do that then.
Yeah.
So I will fire through
At the guy who
I
saw
can
you?
do it.
At
Yeah.
the rat who saw you? Okay. Firing at rat number 3.
The part of rat number 3 is being played by.
I got 2 17s.
Nice.
All right. That's
So-
a hit.
Yeah, 21.
Already,
Thank you,
it's
Ryan.
on dice, though. Yeah.
And that's 5 damage.
Nice.
5 damage for number 3. Okay. So there's this. So you kind of jam your gun in between some of the barrels where you saw this guy look at you, and you, when there's this plume of smoke, and you hear the guy on the other side clasp his rat-like paw to his shoulder.
I leave the pistol where it's stuck in between the barrels, and I'll pull out my rapier.
Okay. Perfect.
Ready myself.
Velvet, you're next.
Okay.
I can still give a bardic inspiration to one other person.
Do you need line of sight?
So whoever. It's a good question.
Let's see if I can find that real quick.
I got it.
Okay.
Suppose action on your turn to choose one creature other than yourself within 60 feet who can hear you.
Well, everybody can hear you, technically speaking.
So anybody who wants my last point of bardic inspiration. I'll have to do it in my next turn though. Just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. It's a bonus action.
Okay. So
Did I use a bonus action on this turn actually?
Technically, no.
No. Okay. So does anybody want it?
Do you want it for your shot?
I mean, I'm plus 5 to my shot.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So you guys readied actions to fire.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Mhm.
So go ahead and take those shots
Okay.
now.
And then we'll figure out. Yeah.
So basically,
Which
as
way
soon
to
as
throw
as soon as you saw Lenny jam the gun in between the barrels and shoot, like, oh, that's it. It's over.
Yep. We're on. 19 to hit.
24 to hit.
Nice.
So both hit.
And 1d6.
7 points of damage to number 3.
What's number 3? Okay.
4.
4 to number 4,
Yeah, I'm
or 4 to number 2. 4 to number 2.
one over 2.
Yeah, you're 4 to number 2.
Oh my garbage net.
All right, so your shot, Kyoko, as you lean around the side, catches this rat in the small of the back as he is sort of recoiling from, and you see he collapses to the ground, twitching. He is dead.
One down.
The one that you shot catches it in the back of the upper thigh, slams against the keg that he was trying to tap, and he takes a moment to kind of spin around and is briefly disoriented.
Okay.
Okay,
Nice.
so now, Velvet.
okay. Let me see if I'm actually doing this one right.
How are we gonna know which one is the one that we're supposed to be going after?
We don't.
You do not have a like a visual.
Yeah. I tried to get one.
We were not so lucky in that regard. We just have to hope we haven't already killed him.
Well, we said it was okay.
Yeah, but we would like the information from him if possible.
Yeah.
Maybe one of his other gang members might know a thing or two.
Okay, so I'm
Maybe
going
he's
to move
not.
that far up. And
You
I'm
can always
going
do non-lethal.
Move where?
move to there.
Well, you can't do
To
non-lethal
here,
with
okay.
ranged.
Yeah.
And
Close.
I am going to go into another step.
So maybe let us do the finishers.
And whoever attacks me before, first person to attack me before the start of my next turn has to pass a dexterity save
Did we
or the attack misses.
did we
Okay.
determine who wanted my bardic inspiration, or we can continue saving it?
We can hold it for now.
Okay.
Yeah. We're doing okay.
Okay, so Velvet, you make your way forward and begin dancing. It's your turn.
Shadow Man hits the fan.
Yeah, this could not end poorly, right?
That's the music of a job well done, of a job going smoothly.
Yeah.
What's that? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay. I couldn't do that even if I wanted to. So we're going to Ray of Frost 2.
Okay, Ray of Frosting number 2.
Chill out.
So you're like leaning again from around the side of this. Okay,
What's the range on that?
60 feet.
it really
Nice.
it's pretty far. Yeah.
I toss up a card, snap, it dissolves. And
He's our last one.
yeah.
Okay,
Make it so.
it's blood red over here in the fortune.
The danger
Fucking
zone.
shit.
Mistakes were made.
We rolled a 5 and I rolled worse.
Oh.
So you had a 5,
Yeah, so an 11 doesn't hit.
and 11 does not hit, unfortunately. No. So the Ray of Frost goes wide, manages to freeze one of the support beams over here, breaks off and shatters into icicles, and one of the barrels sort of pops off and rolls to the floor.
It's free cover.
It's free cover.
It's
I'm gonna
free
use,
cover for you, Jim.
Bonus action to force a card.
Okay. And Kyoko, you're up next.
All right. Drop the pistol. Draw the dagger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And go after number 4 with the dagger.
Okay. Trying to stab number 4.
Mm-hmm. Going non-lethally, so like swinging with the hilt. 15 to hit, or 20 to hit, actually.
20 non-natural?
Non-natural.
Okay, yeah, that's a hit. Yeah.
Have this 4. 7 points of damage.
All right. So
Pommel
you're
strike.
doing a palm. Yeah, so you're using the like the hilt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you see this rat folk in this sort of dingy outfit, with his twitching snout and everything. He is scrambling for his dagger. He turns and sees you and attaches it straight in the temple, and he just goes limp.
One down.
Non-lethal, you said, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Okay. Next. You good? Is that all you want to do? All right. Now it's the rat's turn. So this fellow is unconscious. Number 2 here is going to... He's disoriented. He's waving the smoke out of his face. He grabs his pistol, pulls, and tries to fire at the first thing he sees, which is Velvet.
So he has to make a dexterity save.
Is that only for melee or just any attacks?
Any attack.
Any attacks.
Nice.
Dexterity
The dance.
save.
See, there you're deflecting the bullets.
That's a 9.
He misses.
Okay.
The attack misses.
Fires.
Nice.
Bullet goes wide
He's
as
just
you,
astounded by my dancing and
Nice.
as you gracefully move your way. You bullet dodge, but in a composed, beautiful way. Okay. Then number 1 here you see, he pulls out his pistol, seeing you having bashed his compatriot in the head, is going to take aim and fire. He will take advantage.
Fair. What is that?
Okay, so non-natural 20
That'll hit.
and
I can't
non-natural
even
20.
be a blade singer at
So
level
either way.
1, so
That'll
it's a
hit.
good thing I went with a bard.
That is 6 piercing damage.
Okay. 5.
with a plume of smoke. You catch it.
Hit taken.
And okay, so we're back over the top. Lenny.
Alright.
Keep in mind 4 is unconscious.
Go around the corner to 1 with my rapier. And
Non-lethally decapitate him?
yeah, and actually, if I can,
It wasn't the decapitation that killed him. It was the blood loss.
can I? Is it part of my move or my full move if I want to holster my flintlock?
Part of your move. It's an item interact.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will.
As you're moving, you could.
I will holster my pistol and
that's
move around the corner with my rapier. And
You don't need
slowly
2
attack
hands to
number
hold a
1.
rapier, so. Okay, you attack number 1.
Yes.
Got it. Roll to hit. Or don't. It's up to you. Okay, so you go around the site. As you're taking your flintlock pistol and holstering it, it gets your balance slightly off. You thrust forward, and the rat folk is able to sort of like skitter out of the way.
And again, if anybody wants bardic inspiration, let me know. I've got 1 left.
All right.
Then Velvet, it was your turn.
Okay, I'll move up.
Hop over the barrel.
Well, the barrel's off to the side here,
Ah.
so no need to hop yet.
And I will attack with my scimitar.
Okay,
Not with that dice, though, because shit.
that's the bad one.
That's the bad one.
Gonna melt
Goes
that
in
one
dice
down.
jail.
So that's a 15 to hit.
15
Nice.
hits, yeah.
So that is 6, 7, 8 damage.
Damage. Okay, and I assume you're lethally scimitaring.
I'm John lethally.
Non-lethally? Okay.
Because we don't know.
I just want to make sure.
Two.
All right.
Yep.
So 3 is definitely dead. He's definitely dead.
He got shot.
2, as you're attacking him with the scimitar, so you're making your way up. You slash across the leg meat, and you see he falls backward, cracks his head against the bottom cask, and starts to twitch a little bit, and then goes unconscious.
He had a bad day.
Okay, Shadow Man.
I guess we're gonna try and Ray of Frost.
Numero uno.
4.
He's
4 is
unconscious.
4 is unconscious.
Unless
So
you
1
wanna
is the
ice
only
it.
one that's still.
Yeah, 1.
Okay.
Not
So,
that one.
Ray of Frost. Roll with disadvantage.
I don't know if it's gonna matter.
We'll see.
You'll see.
This is when you roll 20.
Oh no, I actually rolled an 18, but that would be that's 9, so a 15.
15 hits.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Then he takes 28 cold damage, and his speed is reduced by 10 for the next round.
Neat.
Okay.
Try not to murder him.
You could, I guess, non-lethally apply a ton of cold damage. You can freeze the feed or something, right?
Okay.
I mean, if you want to try that.
7 damage. So yeah, right
Okay.
to the lower extremities.
Okay, so you
Chili.
shoot that cone of cold. It strikes around the rat folk's leg, essentially casing him in a sort of a block of jagged ice. And you see he's just sort of like dangling from his torso over the ice. And you can see him as he sees sort of these people approaching. Wait! What do you want?
We're looking for the provider.
Found it.
Well then,
You?
rat. Maybe you can explain why the Gatralt's been going missing.
I don't know what you're talking about. Fox.
Which one is this?
This one here.
Number
Frozen
one.
and mouse.
I mean, I suppose if he's going to be obstinate, we could just start killing his comrades one at a time.
Never really liked them anyway.
Okay.
You know,
No, I don't think he cares.
the Prada over there, you can go ahead and kill him. Pasco, you just stab him. Yeah, they're all rat bastards, and I think you can appreciate fun.
You'd probably be doing them a favor.
I don't need them. I don't have to pay them if they're dead.
You don't have to pay them if you're dead either.
You gonna answer a question?
Sure. Huh?
You gonna answer a question?
Sure. Yeah. What do you want to know?
the Getralt being smuggled out across the seas to frontier towns? Know anything about it?
It's not ringing a bell.
I'll try to charm him. Why not? Give it a shot.
Okay. Charm person.
It should be a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save from the rat folk. He's
Range
going to
14.
re-roll that.
Is that plenty? No. Bargain. Ooh.
You rolled a 15.
Damn.
He is not charmed.
I don't know what you might have heard about me on the street. I am just a businessman. I get things for people that they need, and if you need something, you could have just very well just made an appointment or something instead of coming down here and killing all of my people.
We didn't kill them yet.
Well, I assume you're going to. That's what I would do.
Well, we're not you.
He's not.
I have 50 feet of rope if we want to just tie him up and let the police ask the questions.
I cast friends on him.
Ooh,
Friends. Okay.
That's a fun one.
All right. So now he is friendly. What do you want to do?
I want to try to persuade him.
Is that how that works? I haven't.
You have advantage on all charisma rolls.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay. So you're he's
Concentrate up to a minute.
he's just disposed to be friendly towards you. Okay. So what's your attack?
All right. Now look, we don't want to hurt anybody more than we already have, and we know you're just a simple businessman. So why don't you just tell us what we want to know? Because we know you know.
Okay. Persuasion.
Ooh.
15.
That's not bad.
13. Okay.
Nice.
So you see him. That makes sense. That makes sense. You're right. You're right. You're right. Can you get your people here to kind of back up? You're making me incredibly nervous.
Take some steps back.
Thank you. Ooh, it's cold. So what did you want to know?
We want to know about the Gisald.
Oh, the Getralt stuff. Right. I traffic a little bit in that. Some people need some Getralt to be used in let's say less legal applications. They're building something interesting, or doing some research that's not approved by the academe, right? But I sell a lot of it. I don't know what else to tell you.
So what exactly do we want to know?
We're looking for,
To whom, I guess, are they big buyers?
yeah, where it's going, where it's coming from.
So who are you selling it to? Specifically.
Well, a couple of discreet parties. They usually bring some kind of representative. I have some surnames, obviously faked. But there is. I can tell you the most recent deal that I made. That'll surely satisfy you, right?
Yeah.
Great. Can you get like an ice pick just ready for me, please? So it was the weirdest thing.
Have the prestidigitation out of the way.
So this person comes in. It was a gnome, right? This gnome comes in and is asking for the stuff, right? You know, the orange stuff. And so we strike up this conversation. We start wheeling and dealing, and then I find out that he wants it for somebody named Viber, and Viber apparently is doing something. The gnome said something about like he said it was a grand ritual, which frankly I don't care. I don't care what it is, and as long as I get paid, that's fine.
Yes, of course.
And he was being really cagey about what that would mean. I mean, I'll ask a question or two. I'm not I'm not immune to curiosity, but
Yeah.
didn't
It
seem
can
to
be
wanna-
a dangerous thing in your
Yes,
business.
right. Fuck, it's cold. So, there you go. So, if you will kindly...
Why don't you just stay here and chill out?
I've got rope.
Leave
We
his
can
fruit
tie
on
him
ice.
up and bring him back to the police.
Well, I don't know if that's necessary. We can just tell the marshal that he's been dealt with. We don't have to do anything. He serves a purpose.
I'm sure the marshal would be much happier if we actually brought him in.
Well, yeah, but that was a secondary concern. He mostly wanted the information.
Might pay us more. If you're into that sort of thing.
You know, money.
Are you a capitalist?
Gross.
Somebody, we might need a fixer in the future. It could be beneficial to us.
I'm not a fan of this idea, but he doesn't have to be my fixer.
I definitely do not want to deal with him again. So that's what?
So
One,
why
two
shouldn't we
votes
give you to the
against?
marshal?
I mean, from a legal standpoint.
Oh, we don't care about that.
You guys
I care
came
about that.
You folks came in here and murdered one of my people and beat the crap out of the other two and froze me. So I'm seeing assault and breaking and entering charges for all of you, and I'm just simply trying to do my job here, my business.
And how does that answer change if we were to tell you that we've been given kind of carte blanche to just dispose of you?
Well, I would say which person told you that? I'm sure there's
The marshal.
You'll excuse me if I don't believe you.
Okay.
I was born yesterday. It was a couple of
Okay,
days
we can
ago.
kill him.
I would rather
what?
bring him in alive.
Let's just bring him in.
Those are your two options.
No need to die.
Then
No,
we
thank
can
you.
take you
I'm
into the
perfectly
marshal.
fine.
All right.
No one gets their beer if I'm not here. That's what they say.
I tried your.
Is it?
It's bad. No.
What vintage did you have? What brand did you have?
You might be doing the city a favor.
Getting rid of him?
There is a very important clientele here that need my services because the workday is just so grinding. I don't think you want to do that, and you're hurting the workers essentially when you take me away.
What was the product like that you sampled?
Bacon. It smelled like bacon. It tasted like death.
Oh.
That was.
Oh.
Why did you drink that?
Did you get drunk at all?
No, it just burned.
That was turpentine. What's wrong with you?
It's not my fault you don't have a bartender.
It's not my fault you came in when
Look,
clearly we weren't open.
I think that as a fixer you serve a purpose, but you're not really giving us much of a reason to either.
You drank turpentine?
Apparently.
Fine. Okay, fine. I'll tell you some things, okay? But you have to leave me alive, okay?
We can.
You
leave
know, I don't even
alive.
care about the ice thing. That's fine.
I
There's
cannot
water on the
face
bridge.
you.
I had some of my people do some digging, right? I don't like to deal with people unless I know a little bit about them. Now, this fellow who came in, this gnome, who was representing this Viber character, right? He couldn't get anything on him. He's a ghost, right? But this Viber person, that's actually has come up before. One of my guys tells me that this Viber character is apparently he's a native, right? He's not from here or from the old country, right? Not a la Marasma, right? He's one of the creatures out there, like out in the frontier, on the waste.
The plant camp?
No, and not the bug ones either. Some other thing, like kind of lizardy, but not really. It's hard to explain.
Lizard? Not a lizard folk.
Right? No, not them, but like
Not dragonborn?
no, they're like somewhere in them. They're like related somehow. I don't know. Apparently, this Viber character, this lizard thing, right? He is attempting this grand ritual. I still have no idea what that is. Out in a small canyon just outside of Talansia. You heard of it?
It's what, history?
History.
Nope. My history rolls are shit for some reason.
16.
6.
Okay, so 16.
1.
Okay, so you have heard of Talanzia just off chance. Somebody's mentioned it before. Talanzia is a frontier town outside of La Marasma in the frontier. That was initially a promising little kind of village, right? In the style of a classic sort of Old West frontier town. You've got your general store and all this stuff like that. Just a very contained city, but was abandoned because they discovered that the earth around Talanzia, the ground was essentially quicksand.
Okay.
And so it made living there, working there, almost impossible because of the struggles that they were going through to try to counteract and deal with this quicksand. And you know that it is sort of that Talanzia itself is kind of nestled in this area where there's lots of like jagged sort of desert rocks and canyons and things like that.
Well, that seems like that's useful information.
Great, we're all happy. Fantastic. Feel free to take some for the road if you like. You can take a whole barrel, I don't care. And I'll see you folks never again. Sound good?
I still want to take him in.
He would be alive.
No?
See you guys. I think I would be fine letting him go. But
How about no?
if that's not
But
an
yes,
option.
I like this idea.
You haven't said anything yet, Velvet.
I really don't care what we do with him.
Great, that's a positive, right? That's a vote for leaving me here.
I will pull out the rope.
Okay.
If you want to take him in,
Tie him up. Take him
Yeah.
up.
You tie up the top half.
Yeah.
I can use prestidigitation to chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot
Yeah,
of
she can
non-living
unfreeze
material.
him.
So I can warm.
It's a cubic foot, so.
Yeah, I can slowly begin to warm.
All right. So
the
we'll
ice.
call it a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
you.
as I do that, I will bind him with the rope.
And so you bind him up, and with his protestations, you
Are
take
we
him.
taking the rest of them?
Somebody's got to run this place, right?
No.
The hit was only out for him. I guess not the hit, but the.
Okay, let's take him back.
Sounds good.
Alright.
Okay.
Does anybody actually want to take any of the alcohol in here?
No.
No.
What about the turpentine?
I think I'm
Maybe.
Okay. So you, the lot of you, whoever's doing the carrying, you shoulder.
Who's got the best strength?
Kapato.
No.
What's everybody's strength?
8.
good. 11.
8.
Really?
Yeah.
You're technically the strongest.
So you're all dragging Violin Kapato out
I should
of
have taken Unseen Servant.
the tavern.
We just
I don't
leave
know
him in the
that
ice.
Unseen Servant can lift
Use that
anything,
to
though.
slide him along.
Yeah.
Very slowly as it melts. Yeah, like a glacier.
Could have taken Mage Hand, but I didn't do that, so.
Mage Hand wouldn't help here.
No.
So a lot of you are able to take Patu in his sort of bound form, smuggle him out of Poxborough and back to Gainsey to the La Marasma
Unseen
Police
Servant has a
Department.
strength of 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you enter the lobby and you've got this squirming rat folk bound in rope with you. Where do you go from here?
Well, we go
To
check
the
in with the lady at
receptionist.
the desk.
Approach the receptionist.
So the receptionist sees you approach and
We've got some fruit on ice.
what?
The marshal wanted the person.
We got the person.
That's yes. Go
Should we take
ahead.
him to the
Go
marshal
on
or
in.
to the jail?
The marshal will want to see him. Just go straight up.
Alright.
Push him into the elevator.
Elevator music.
Okay, you make your way up to the elevator. Doors pass.
Start
You've got
fidgeting
that
with my
off-white,
clockwork thing again.
bland hallway, and sure enough, the door to Marshal Airsense's office.
Finish
You're
it up
stuck?
with a music box and start playing the music box in the elevator.
Just toss him in front of the marshal's desk.
Who is it?
Yeah. Open the door. Let him toss in.
Jesus Christ!
No, not quite. He probably
Who's
can't walk
that?
on water.
Who?
Well, you've accomplished this faster than I expected. Please come in. Don't you step on him. It doesn't matter.
Well, you've done an excellent job. This is Peppato. I see that he is a little worse for wear, but otherwise he's within condition to be telling us some things and rotting in a jail cell for something.
I'm sure that makes you happy.
He did give us some information. Granted, it was under duress.
And he does know that I magically made him my friend for a minute.
Yeah, he's not happy with that. And this information?
There's a native by the name of Viber. It seems that our provider here was providing Viber with the Getralt to perform some sort of ritual
Out of Talancia.
out near, canyons near Talancia.
Valencia, this is a death trap.
Seems like a good place for a grand ritual.
He said he was some kind of, not quite a lizard folk, but
Not dragon
definitely some
either?
kind of reptilian.
Some kind of native.
I have heard some tale of out on the frontier these lizard-like creatures, small and vicious, very quick. I assumed that they were tall tales, perhaps, or
Frontier myth.
mistaken identification by drunk police people. But this may be an actual issue after all. He sort of leans over and smooths his mustache over. I'm willing to pay you double my initial offer to each of you. If you will go to this to Talancia and investigate this Viber caricature and this ritual. In doing so, I will officially put you on the books as a valuable asset to this department, and you will get priority in our assigning contractual cases.
I'm interested.
I'm interested.
Sounds fun.
Always willing to help a good cause.
Then we have a deal. Now, he moves out from behind his desk and with one hand sort of lifts up Pepatu and puts him on his shoulder. If you'll excuse me, I have some trash to take out.
And we'll see ourselves out.
He leaves his office, and that's where we'll stop.
Nice. It's nice
I
going
like
back
this
to
class.
systems where combat flows.
Yeah.
Right?
Man.
Whew.
Night and day out.
Though after Shadowrun, I don't really know that there's anywhere to go but up.
There are ways to go down. There aren't
Wild
many.
talents.
Yeah, oh. It's fun, but holy
Wild
cow, do you
talents,
have
I
to know
guess,
your
really
characters.
depends on the kinds of characters that are playing.
Yeah,
Like, my character was relatively straightforward.
kept the combat pretty
She's
simple.
got her two things that she does. She heals people and she radiates them.
Mhm.
She radiates them.
Anything beyond that, though? Especially trying to do teleportation and damage at the same time. I remember struggling with Hunter's
Yeah,
build. That was
Hunter's fucking character.
wait, you want it to do what?
Is he trying to telefrag them?
He tries to teleport into,
Never that.
Yeah.
into their spaces.
Yeah, so he's trying to telefrag them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how do you roll damage for something like that?
And
How does that work?
He did a weird thing where his teleportation was based on slums.
Yeah. In Spelunky, they just die.
Well, at that point, you would switch over to a new system and calculate, do a separate game.
Build a system around that idea
Yeah.
and go from
But that's also an extremely, at least in
I don't know
that
if
game,
this is the same.
dangerous way to try to kill things. 'Cause
there. Check in.
That's probably mine.
you're just as likely to teleport into brick.
Well, they don't really have a place to like name or anything.
That one's not mine.
Yeah, that one's mine. Because that was the one I gave you, so it's probably mine.
That was fun. And I actually haven't had anything to really do the last few Friday nights, so I might be able to. I don't know if I'll be able to do it consistently, depending on how the rest is going.
Yeah, I mean,
I might be able to pop in and out with this character.
Yeah, that's fine. It's designed to be kind of. The missions are kind of modular in a way, so that
I've
people can
been,
come in.
I've been really wanting